is named calisthenics because it comes from the Greek word kalosphenos, which means beauty and strength. The idea of calisthenics is that you are performing exercises that look beautiful and you're also strong. The Greeks would use it to develop their gymnasts. It's all about showing off your strength in beautiful ways. So when it comes to thinking about doing calisthenics and bodyweight exercises, you start to think in that way. It's not like I'm just doing push-ups at home because I want to get, stronger arms. I'm doing push-ups because I want to be able to do a cool move eventually and look really good doing it. And then that puts you into the game of tracking your food better, being on top of your training, and becoming a better athlete overall.
I will say from my own experience doing calisthenics training that it is really rewarding when you start to progress on the movement. I've been doing some weighted shifts doing handstands, and you know that the end goal is to have this really well functioning movement created by your body over time.
Welcome back to the Perform Well podcast. This is the podcast for you if you're looking for performance and wellness optimization so that you can not only smash your career but also have a better life, better relationships and better health. We believe that performance and wellness are yin and yang and work together. So listen in as we dive into topics that are going to help you optimize your life for the better.
Dan, do you do any bodyweight training?
I do a little bit. I dabble in it.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Name a few exercises. I'm just interested.
Few bodyweight exercises, push-ups, pull-ups, dips. You could do leg raises for a bit of core work.
Yeah, leg raises are good.
Pike presses.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. What else you got? Handstands. If you can do a handstand, you like me, just a quality gymnast over here at the best of times.
And when I say calisthenics, what does that mean to you compared to bodyweight training?
Calisthenics means using your body as the resistance. I don't know like the whole title of it, but using your body as the resistance to help grow lean muscle mass.
Same as bodyweight training, right?
That's the same. Yeah.
That's the thing. Those that are listening today, bodyweight training, calisthenics, same thing. However, people that often hear the term calisthenics think of advanced gymnastic movements, but they aren't. They are the same as every bodyweight exercise out there: push-ups, sit-ups, squats, etc. So today we're really just going to talk about how bodyweight exercises can double your strength. And that is a bit of a leading topic, because we're not saying let's say it can double your strength, it can triple, quadruple your strength. It depends how strong you are currently. If you're someone that is a weightlifter, you might find it helps you unlock that next level of strength. And if you are a calisthenics athlete, then you might find it won't double your strength because you're already trained. So in most cases though, if you're not doing it, it can double your strength. We're going to talk about it. So the problem with weightlifting, Dan, what have you experienced with weightlifting that is a downside?
Weightlifting, look, I'll be honest, I'm not going to shit on weightlifting too much because it has got so many pros. And we talk about weightlifting, we're talking about resistance training, we're talking about taking your body for full ranges of motion with some kind of external resistance added to it. And it is beneficial for stuff to reduce like osteoporosis, that kind of stuff. But in terms of weightlifting, one of the big things I think people get worried about, and there is due to be worry, is the injury risk that is associated with weightlifting resistance training. Because there was something I found out when I herniated my disc in my back, that actually there's a larger percentage of younger individuals who are having disc herniations between the ages of about 18 to 24 than there ever has been before. Now, we can obviously link this to a lot of other external factors, but I think a lot of it plays on how hardcore people go straight into weightlifting without conditioning their body beforehand.
Yeah, mate, that's wild. The fact that there's so many people having herniations at a young age. I mean, also weightlifting, obviously, you do need a gym or you need equipment at home. 9 times out of 10, if you're going to be going down the weightlifting route, you are going to end up in a gym and you need to have the right equipment. And obviously you have to take into account cost. Who's going to be in the gym? Are they going to get in your way? Is it going to be as easy as just getting on equipment you want to get on? Weightlifting can be difficult with that. Any other problems?
No, I'd say it is the accessibility that you've spoken about there, and also the affordability to some people, because exercise equipment is expensive. If you've got that in your bank account, crack on, order all the kit you need. But when it comes to the accessibility of it, bodyweight exercises, a lot of people start from a basis of, look, let's be honest, most people have done a bodyweight squat. No, I'm going to change that. Everyone's done a bodyweight squat in their life because we've all sat down on a chair before. So the functionality of the exercise comes along very well. And obviously you can have a large array of people who can take part in bodyweight exercises as well at the same time. So I think that's probably one of the biggest areas, is the accessibility element of bodyweight exercises. Opens up the door to a lot of people who wouldn't normally exercise.
Yeah, and on top of that as well, like being a weightlifter myself for a long time, I have found that as I get super strong, at least for myself anyway, as I get strong, I feel stiffer. I feel tighter. And there's bodyweight exercises I've done that haven't given me that feeling. And if you're someone that is trying to get bigger and stronger but doesn't want the stiffness that can associate with it, then weightlifting, you have to just take into account that weightlifting can be a cause of that. Obviously, you know, if you're mobilizing properly and you're training properly, you shouldn't be as stiff as that, but it does happen. Don't know if you've had the same feeling yourself.
Well, you have to use things in conjunction.
Yeah.
So, like, if you're weightlifting, it's all on a linear scale. And you look at mobility and stability at two different ends of that scale. And when you are strengthening, so say you're doing squats, you will be improving the stability of the joint, but not necessarily improving the mobility of the joint at the same time. Because when you're lifting heavy as well, normally we see a reduction in the mobility around a joint, unless you have been working at full range of motion at all times. But that's why normally you need to use those two things in tandem. So if you are doing strength training, you need to do some kind of mobilization work as well to help improve the range of motion around your joints. And yeah, I agree. Like, I think you feel a lot kind of looser when you're not doing a lot of strength training, if I'm totally honest. Like, but saying that, some runners are really stiff all the time. So, like, there is a balance between all these kind of things, and it's trying to find that happy medium in between, which is, again, where bodyweight training can come in as a useful tool. Yeah. I used bodyweight training when I got injured to facilitate my injury because it was all I could do. I couldn't handle large amounts of load. So then I loaded what I could through the ranges of motion that are available, through push-ups, doing things that my body could do. So it is such an easy and accessible way to get yourself moving and starting to build some strength up, because you are still going to move. You know, you're still going to gain muscle mass through bodyweight training. If we're talking from like a way of somebody being younger, and say you don't weigh much, you're a skinny person and you've really struggled with feeling skinny all the time and you just can't pack on weight. The best thing about bodyweight training is always your body versus your body. So you're always going to progress. The heavier you get, the harder it gets, then you'll build more muscle, and it continues down that line. Yeah. So that's one way that bodyweight training obviously is just fantastic for that.
And also, like, obviously there are bodyweight exercises that will make you stiff, just like weight training. Like, I'm not saying that it's a miracle cure for removing that stiffness in the muscle. However, I find with bodyweight training, with my own kind of experience with it, is that when you're focused on bodyweight training, you're focused on body positioning more than when you're weightlifting, where you're focused on muscle tension more. And so you get really smart with bodyweight training on how to position your body and how it feels in certain positions. And you can feel the tightness developing before it actually develops, and you can start to mobilize that joint before it becomes a problem. With weightlifting, I find you get stuck in this world where you're just trying to lift the heaviest weight possible, you're trying to maximize muscle tension, and before you know it, you're not even thinking about the stiffness. You're not even thinking about it until it's too late and until you start getting tight and you have to start fixing it. So bodyweight exercises are not anything different than weight training when it comes to the stiffness angle. It's just the headspace that focus puts into you. That's a very massive, important factor.
Well, for you, Nick, as well, you've been down the calisthenics line for so long now. What are some kind of like 3 top points that you can take away from the bodyweight training and the calisthenics line that you can kind of give to people?
Well, I mean, mate, I'll tell you what, if we're going down calisthenics, like, as I said at the beginning, bodyweight, calisthenics, same thing. Calisthenics is a cult. Sorry, culture. It's a culture. That's what I would say. It's a cult. Hey, the fun part of culture is cult, all right? It is a cult. Calisthenics is named calisthenics because it comes from the Greek word kalisphenos, which means beauty and strength. So the idea of calisthenics is that you are performing exercises that look beautiful, you look beautiful yourself, and you're also strong. So the Greeks would use it to develop their gymnasts and develop their civilians to be in the best shape possible and do some awesome stuff. And obviously gymnastics, you know, as it's come now, is all about showing off your strength in beautiful ways. And so with that in mind, when it comes to thinking about doing calisthenics and bodyweight exercises, you start to think in that way. It's not like I'm just doing push-ups at home because I want to get, you know, stronger arms. I'm doing push-ups because I want to be able to do a cool move eventually and look really good doing it. And then that kind of puts you into the game of tracking your food better, being on top of your training, and becoming a better athlete overall. And obviously, yeah, we had Bar Tribes, the calisthenics community, which it's been 4 years now. So everyone that is listening that obviously was part of Bar Tribes, that would be fucking awesome if they are. Been a while, man. Been a while.
Comment below, by the way, if you are part of Bar Tribes and you're you're watching the content, Nick's putting out. I unfortunately was not part of Bar Tribes. I was somewhere else at that point in time.
Bring it back. We can bring it back. Bar Tribes 2.0.
I can just about do a handstand. At this point in time.
That's better.
I mean, I'm progressing with it, but I will say from my own experience doing calisthenics training, because I'd incorporate my handstand routine obviously into that, that it is really rewarding when you start to progress on the movement. Like I've been doing some weighted shifts doing handstands, and actually that small little increase of the height that I'm doing my weighted shifts to just makes you feel so much better. And you know that the end goal is to have this really well functioning movement created by your body over time by having the kind of level of understanding of how you need to move. And I think it gives you a greater level of proprioception, that kind of feeling, the intrinsic feeling of how your body moves, compared to weightlifting, because you are having to physically concentrate on every single part of your body throughout the movement to make sure that it relays over. And actually, I think the carryover into weight training as well is superb, because I think a lot of people, if they just did like a small 4-week block of bodyweight training, you can incorporate it into your resistance training. You don't have to take one for the other. But I think if people did a 4-week block, I think people would then start to feel the muscle more when they're training, arguably, because they would be so much more focused on the movement pattern, because the key thing is the movement pattern and getting tension throughout the movement pattern, rather than just kind of thinking, right, I'm just going to do a heavy weight and hope for the best. It is just continuing to kind of break it down chain by chain, step by step, and have that kind of elite level of understanding of how your body moves. And calisthenics, probably from your own experience as well, gives you that. Apologies for interrupting the podcast. We know you're getting fully engrossed into this episode, and we really appreciate you stopping on the video on YouTube or on Spotify if you found us through one of the search pages. Make sure to leave a review and a subscription if you haven't already. But we just wanted to interject a point here that me and Nick have 15 years of coaching experience between us, and it's only getting better as we've got better guests on the podcast. The only way we can do that, though, is with the growth of our program that we've just released. We've got a 12-month Perform Well program, which has just dropped, and we'd love you guys to get involved in it. If you want to learn more details, make sure to head to the description, as we've got our website in there, which can give you a full overlay of the program. We're looking to help career-driven professionals, entrepreneurs, small business owners, and anyone dominate their life by improving their lifestyle. Me and Nick like to claim ourselves as experts in this area, and if you want to check out some of our other transformations, I'm sure you do. We've got some amazing people who have performed so well off the back of this program. Have a cracking day, and we really appreciate your time. Let's get back to the podcast.
Oh, 100%, mate. Plus, you can do it anywhere, anytime, any place. That's the great thing about calisthenics. Yes, okay, pull-up bars, you might need to be a little bit more clever with where you can put up. But, I mean, I've been on nights out, and I see scaffolding, and I'm thinking, this is my opportunity. I've been practicing this. And you start doing muscle-ups on scaffolding. But I'm not saying that's necessary, but, it's always good to have the skill of being able to do a push-up, do a squat. If you go on holiday and there's no gym, you can always train wherever you are. Like, calisthenics is just great. Now, the reason why you must include bodyweight training into your life is because of what Stan just said. It's proprioception. It's understanding how your body works, in terms of your, where your body is positioned in terms of the space around you. Like, that's very important to understand. It's not just a case of you're doing a push-up, and then, going up and down, doing a couple of reps. It's like, you need to then think about, is your core tucked in? How am I feeling in the movement? Am I engaging the certain muscles? That can be transferred over to weight training and vice versa. But a lot of weightlifters could do with a bit of bodyweight training. And I'm talking like pull-ups, dips, push-ups, basic bodyweight, because they actually do develop you. They make you look better too. They make your muscles more developed. Like, honestly, my back is wide as fuck because of pull-ups, not anything else. I've actually thought about this a lot with pull-ups and lat pull downs. And I've really tried to figure out which one has the best development for my back. And I thought about this for a long time. And lat pull downs, you can get a better squeeze in the lats and the back, and it makes your back more defined, I find. But pull-ups, on the other hand, have always given me the thickness of the back. And I've tested this over years of actually doing it. Like, weighted pull-ups develops thickness in my back that I can then shape with the lat pull downs to make it better. So not only are you building functional strength that you can do anywhere, but you're also building a back that is thicker and better shape. So it is a win-win.
Well, I think this is one of the things that the science-based guys on YouTube are pumping out there. I mean, like Jeff Nippard is really pumping out there about long length and partials. And one of the exercises he included in there was a neutral grip pull-up. Like he said, a neutral grip pull-up for the lats is a fantastic exercise in terms of just the hand positioning in general and allowing the entirety of the back and the musculature of the back to contract in such a way that it allows that full stretch and that full lengthen process. And also the fact that you're always just being able to do it in most places. You know, there is normally a space where you can conduct pull-ups and it's not fighting for the lat pull-down machine, which seems to be absolutely everyone's favorite. I do argue with some regard that lat pull-downs are a more stable exercise in terms of positioning because you're locked into place. And pull-ups require, obviously, building up the technical skill over time. But I'm sure there's so many people watching this podcast now that are sitting there or listening, that are sitting there and they have set themselves a pull-up goal or would love to do a pull-up. The aspiration of being able to do a pull-up, like 90% of the people that I train, and mostly who are women, are normally aspiring to a push-up or a pull-up because it is a grand feat of strength. That's what we're aiming for, a grand feat of strength. And that's a bodyweight exercise. And the main way you train that is by doing the movement over and over and over again and building up your knowledge of, okay, that wasn't right on that rep. I need to pull it back in, need to keep my elbows tucked in, less flaring, you know, more in line with my shoulders, that kind of stuff.
And it's cool. Like,
and it's cool.
Bloody cool, man. Honestly, it's cool. And also, I was going to say, a distinct difference between a lat pull down and a pull up as well that I think a lot of people don't really think about is the hormonal effect that has on your body. Like when you're lifting heavy ass weight attached to your body and you're doing pull ups and you're fighting for every single inch and you're trying to do it with good form and you've got all your stabilizers, like not just in your arms but your legs and your abs and everything just fighting, right? It makes it so much more effective on your hormonal release, like growth hormone, testosterone. It has a bigger impact. And people don't realize, like, it's the same reason why people don't do squats, right? It's like if you train squats and you use that to develop your hormones at a higher level, like release more growth hormone and testosterone from lifting more weight on more muscle, you would then see transferable crossover to your upper body as well. It's the same thing. Pull-ups, weighted pull-ups. Obviously, I'm saying weighted pull-ups, bodyweight training. Obviously, you would do pull-ups. You can do weighted versions too. Would release so much more in terms of hormonal release that you would see a benefit that you wouldn't see with lat pull down alone. And that's not even taken into account. You don't even use your core in lat pull down much in terms of the same way. So, you know, we've got to think about compounds are time saving. They release a lot more. They help you a lot more.
I think one of the hardest things, though, I will come into the bodyweight space here and kind of play devil's advocate.
Yeah.
Most movement patterns, we talk about we need a squat pattern, a hinge pattern, a lunge pattern, a push and a pull. But they're kind of like the 5 movement patterns that are pretty much base standard. Like they're the ones you should be hitting every single week. The only problem is with hinge patterns in terms of body weight, is there anything that you know of that could hit the hinge pattern? I
mean, if we're not talking like glute bridge,
okay,
you know, obviously, but glute bridge is quite light in terms of intensity. Then there isn't anything that comes to mind. Calisthenics is really about increasing resistance through body positioning. And it's very hard to find a body position with hip hinge that can make it difficult. There are ways to tackle the abs, 100%. Potentially, you've got the hyperextension where you could, you know, basically fold over a Roman chair, come backwards. That can hit the hip hinge. So past that point, you would then look at adding weight to that bodyweight movement, which, by the way, for calisthenics people that are pure ones, they will absolutely hate me saying that. Add weight to a bodyweight exercise, it makes no sense. It's like, actually it does. Like, if you get to a point where you've maxed out the position, then why not add weight? It's complete.
Isn't there like calisthenics comps where they add weight?
Most calisthenic comps, from my understanding, will have 2 types of categories. One is freestyle, which is where you see all the cool stuff, like flipping around bars, one arm handstands, doing really cool stuff. I like freestyle. I'm a very heavy guy. I find it really difficult. And then the second category is reps. So what's the heaviest weight you can do a pull-up? How many reps can you do with a pull-up? Like, how many muscle-ups can you do in a row? There's like actual competitions that can like test both. Because some people, just like any sport, will be better suited to freestyle, and some people will be better suited for reps.
I'm going to have a look what the weighted pull-up. This is like, dang, get that up. Weighted pull-up world record. Jamie. Well, let's have a look at the weighted pull-up world record.
I think it's like 90 kilos.
Bloody hell. My God. the world record for the heaviest weighted pull-up is 104.55 kilos.
And that's
in the male
added
category.
weight. What's his actual weight?
I don't know what his actual weight was. It doesn't. Oh, he weighed 96.85. So that's what 200 kilos.
That's freaky.
200 kilos on a weighted pull-up.
I've done more. But no, I haven't. Sorry, that's so much more. Shit.
200. I was about to say. I was like, do you hold this world record? Then
No. My max was 60 kilo pull-ups and I was 115 kilo. So that'd be 175. So no, I'll be less. But body weight wise, in terms of body weight to weight ratio, that's insane.
That's absolutely I'm mind blown. But this is the thing as well with this kind of work. You can do such amazing things with your body in multiple contexts. And again, we come back to the baseline of you just have to be heavily consistent with it to build it up over time. And then eventually it becomes simple. I'm about to start doing handstands 4 times a week now because I want to really start to perpetuate that and be able to get my 5 meter handstand walk. I'm fucking, it's in my mind that I want to do that. Granted, coming around Halloween, it might be useful to learn it sooner, so then I can creep out some people, You
get one of those suits where the head, you could put a fake head where your nutsack is, and your legs could be the hands. That's where
my head's at with this kind of stuff. So it's all practical thinking. But as we say, bodyweight exercises are a fantastic way. They're accessible. You can progress them really nicely. They're great for learning proprioception and teaching your body how to move correctly, which is one of the biggest faults that I ever see when I see people training in the gym is 90% of people don't know how to do the movement correctly before they start whacking on load and load and load. And I'll be honest, the amount of people that I've heard that have injured their backs, they've injured their knees because their movement pattern is not capable of the movement yet. Add some body weight time in, start to learn it. Even a body weight squat pattern, just do some heel raise squats if you can't hit the depth. Teach your body what the range of motion is meant to be like, and then just slowly drop down there. There is nothing wrong with stuff like butt wink, stuff like that, if we're loading it lightly, because we're just teaching mobility to it. So as Nick's saying here, body weight is a fantastic way and can really double down on your strength if used correctly. And if you want any tips, obviously, drop it in the comments. We'll be happy to answer any questions that come through.
And lastly, obviously, it's just how do you implement it? Because at the end of the day, guys, bodyweight training is effective. You do need to do some kind of bodyweight training anyway. It's going to be helpful for you. But how do you implement it? We're not saying that you have to go down the route of advanced calisthenics. We're not saying you have to do handstands, muscle-ups, skin the cats, backflips, etc. Push-ups, squats, and pull-ups are the 3. And if you can't do a pull-up, you can build up to it. The idea of calisthenics or bodyweight training is that it's a progression, just like weights. So with weights, you just add more weight. With body weight, you change the movement. Now, actually, to be fair, Dan, we actually have filmed from the Bar Tribe days an entire library of calisthenic bodyweight exercises, from being able to push up against the wall to doing a one-arm push-up on the floor. And I've got a squat version, a pull-up version, a dip version. If you guys want access to that, let us know.
Yeah, and we can get you involved in that as well. So really look to utilize this technique, guys. It's so beneficial just to try out new things as well. And just don't get so loggerheaded into having to do heavy bar work all the time and your sessions being the same. Mix it up, try things out. You've got years and years to try things out. So why not try now and feel a bit better about what you're doing?
Exactly.
Before we round off, is there anything else you wanted to add into the mixer there, Nick?
No, man. Honestly, I think we covered everything. Calisthenics is cool. Make sure you do it. And you will be in the best shape of your life, I promise you.
Cool. Well, guys, thank you very much for watching this episode. We really appreciate you staying tuned. Make sure to follow, subscribe, drop us a like, and make sure you can push this podcast out so we can try and help more people, because that's the whole end point of this podcast as well. We've got some fantastic guests lined up, and hopefully we'll be back in the studio soon as well. But yeah, we will catch you guys later.
Ciao, ciao.